body part despite the whole body, and it just doesn't. It's making us sit back and really scratch our heads and think, well, why? And then that's my question. I understand the numbers don't match up. I get that, and I get there's nothing you can do with the budget, but you're cutting off such a large body part of what is Middlesex Community College. It just doesn't seem to add up. Something just seems to be missing. Why in order to save $880,000, you're cutting off a leg. It just doesn't seem to make sense.
How does this affect the Middletown campus?
You're cutting us. You're cutting the campus in basically half. You're cutting Middlesex. If Middlesex was a person, you just surgically removed half their body, and it just doesn't make sense for $880,000.
And you mentioned services, cutting service, how that would look bad, like on the college. All of these colleges are responsible for cutting something in services. I feel if we were responsible for cutting a certain amount of programs, I wouldn't care as long as I was walking in through those doors every morning, knowing that we survived that.
It was the program you were enrolled in.
The thing is, I'm in general education at the moment, so maybe you're right. It's a little impersonal to say so, but I feel like people would come to terms with it, and it wouldn't look as bad as it seems, seeing as all the other colleges are probably cutting services now as we speak, and a whole bunch of different things in their budget, but we can't seem to kind of put ourselves in the same shape.
Yeah, I mean, eventually everybody will have to just, will explain to their communities, their students, faculty, and staff, their advisors, their foundation boards. They'll have to explain what they're going to do to try to resolve the issue. But there are a couple of big units that are issues. One is that the developmental education. The developmental education. Okay. So the legislature a few years ago decided to work on developmental education because they were very concerned about the way that it was actually happening in the lives of students. And so they created, and I'll turn to the dean to explain the various ways that they made changes. But one of the pieces is that they gave us money to supplement our work in developmental education so that students at really at the lowest level of ability would be able to be given instruction that would get them up to the point where they could do college level work. And that money did not get forwarded into this year's budget. That's a big piece of our issue right there. Another piece is and this sort of goes to what's going on around the state. The holding vacancies open it's not a great strategy because those are random, but people will be doing that. We are doing that ourselves. And in so doing, we're able to save some money, and that does impact the entire college. It's not just Meriden. One of the issues for us is that we have to duplicate services, and it's not that we feel that we don't want to duplicate the services. We want to, and for those of you who've been here for a couple of years, we've really increased what we do here. The Learning Center is amazing, and I think every student should have access to a Learning Center in 2 years. But that means we run two of them, right? So there's a sort of that's a redundancy that costs money to do. And obviously what we do here, we want to do well. So we want to be sure we support all of you with the kinds of equipment and instructors and library resources that you need in order to be successful.